Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. November 28th, 2017.
The Kuhner Report, presented by Kelly Financial Services.
You were here long before any of us were here, although we have a representative in Congress who they say was here a long time ago. They call her Pocahontas. But you know what? I like you.
Oh, the chief is on the warpath. Oh, Pocahontas is not a happy woman today. So, you heard the clip. Let's play it again. President Trump yesterday was at an event to honor the Navajo Code Talkers. These were great heroes, Native Americans, who mostly fought in the Pacific War against the Japanese. And because they spoke such a rare language, their code among each other was practically unbreakable. And so to honor them and the sacrifices that they made for our country during World War II, there was a special event. And so standing right next to the president were actually two of them. And what's funny is, as Trump is taking this shot, this dig at Elizabeth Warren, you could tell these poor Navajo code talkers have no clue whatsoever what he's talking about. Like, you could just tell, like, they don't get the joke. The joke went right over their head. They're like, they were like, what's this guy saying? And, you know, I don't know exactly where they're from, but, you know, I would assume probably many of them are, on reservations, whether in South Dakota, North Dakota, hell, Oklahoma, wherever it may be. And who's Elizabeth Warren, senator from Massachusetts, this member of Congress, Pocahontas? What's the joke? We don't get it. Well, Trump used the event to take a real shot at the chief. Listen to Trump once again, because the media uproar has been deafening. Roll it, Brittany.
You were here long before any of us were here, although we have a representative in Congress who they say was here a long time ago. They call her Pocahontas. But you know what? I like you.
And, of course, you know, what's he doing? He's referencing the fact that Elizabeth Warren is a fake, phony Indian, and that she pretended to be an Indian to get tenure at Harvard Law, to teach at Harvard Law, and ripped off a minority set-aside, affirmative action, to give herself a job and make money. So the joke is on Elizabeth Warren, but the chief is not in on the joke. In fact, the chief, listen to this, is pretending to still be a Native American Cherokee. She went on MS Left BC and called it, I swear to you, a racial slur. Roll it, Brittany.
It is deeply unfortunate that the President of the United States cannot even make it through a ceremony honoring these heroes without having to throw out a racial slur. Look, Donald Trump does this over and over, thinking somehow he's going to shut me up with it. It hadn't worked in the past. It is not going to work in the future.
What a loser. Oh, my God, is she a pathetic loser? I'm serious. Oh, yeah. I don't know where to begin. Honest to God, I don't know where to begin. Now, before I even destroy this pathetic woman, this phony senator on top of a phony Indian, Ed Markula, he got in on the act. So Markey came in, and this is what he tweeted out. So they all jumped on this racial slur thing, by the way. Oh, CNN picked it up, MS Left BC, New York Times, Washington Post, the Boston Globe. They're going crazy over this. They're going nuts. And they were just pummeling Sarah Huckabee Sanders. What Trump said is racist. What Trump said is bigoted. Oh, my God, how dare he say that? It's insulting to Native Americans. Hey, It's insulting to the chief, Elizabeth Warren. It's insulting to everybody. Here's Markula, Ed Markey. Quote, what at real Donald Trump said about my partner at Senator Warren is a slur. It disparages the Native American war heroes standing right beside the president who risked their lives to protect his right to make such a disgusting comment. So immediately they're trying to desperately turn this into Trump's a racist, Trump's a bigot. Now, apparently he's a bigot against Native American Indians. Okay? So, to show you how ridiculous and pathetic Warren, Markey, and the entire liberal mainstream media have become, I want you to think about this. It can only be a racial slur if it's used against an actual Native American Indian. If it's used against somebody who is not a Native American Indian, it's not a racial slur. In fact, the point of the joke, and it was a joke, and honestly a very funny joke, the Navajo code talkers may not have gotten the joke. Because, see, that's the thing. They don't know who Elizabeth Warren is. You know why they don't know who Elizabeth Warren is? Because she's not an Indian. If she was, they would know who she was. Or who she is. So, I want you to think about this. The reason why Pocahontas is such an effective term is because what Trump is exposing is that she is not a Native American. She never was a Native American. And deep down, she knows she's not a Native American. And that she lied about her Native American heritage to get a job. In fact, 2 jobs. One at the University of Pennsylvania and the other one at the University of Harvard to get tenure. Period. Full stop. In other words, here's the joke. She's a phony Indian. That's why she's called Pocahontas. Frankly, I prefer Pocahontas. But either way, it gets the point across. It's the exact opposite of a racial slur. Now, even more than that, this needs to be said, because I am so happy that Trump has smoked the chief out. Okay? You didn't build that teepee, chief, because what it is now doing is that it is now again bringing to national attention the fact that Elizabeth Warren is a liar, a fraud, a phony, and a fake Indian. And what Trump is doing is he is branding her. In fact, it's genius on the part of Trump. If you remember, when you think of Jebito, Jeb press 2 for English Bush, what do you think? Low energy. When you think of Ted Cruz, the way he branded him during the primary, right? Lying Ted. When you think of Marco Rubio, it's little Marco. In other words, what Trump is doing is he is anticipating Chief Spreading Bull to be his presidential challenger, potentially, in 2020. So he's branding her. He's branding her in the eyes of the country as a fake, phony Indian. And like the idiot that she is, she fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. In fact, what is to me most despicable, if you want to know the truth, is that for it to be even close to a racial slur, she has to be a Native American Cherokee herself, which she isn't. So she's continuing to perpetuate that lie. Now, the media wants you to forget what went on 5 years ago when she ran against Scott Brown. I'm not going to let him forget it. If you remember, when the story first broke about Elizabeth Warren claiming to have been a Native American Indian to get the job at Harvard, taught one class for $350,000. It was a minority set-aside job. It was affirmative action and a job set aside specifically for a minority. In fact, the position said you had to be a, quote, person of color. A person of color. So there's Elizabeth Warren, whiter than even I am, claiming that she's a person of color. And so when the story broke, her first reaction, if you remember, look it up, don't take my word for it. I don't know why Harvard University is touting me as a Native American. I don't know why they would call me that. I have no idea. As if reporters wouldn't look into the actual records. And then guess what they found? She touted herself as a Native American Indian. And here was the shtick. Here was the con. When she was growing up, she never once referred to herself as a Native American Indian. She never registered as a Native American Indian. Why? Because genealogists have proven definitively she doesn't have a single drop of Native American blood in her. So she couldn't pull this scam off in the Southwest, Oklahoma and that parts, because they know they have a lot of Indians there. So what did she do? She goes to the East Coast, where there are relatively few Native American Indians, certainly a lot less than there are, say, in the Midwest, the Plain States, or in the Southwest. So she goes to the University of Pennsylvania, and then she realizes, oh, hey, they want Native Americans, quote, people of color, minority set-asides. Hey, I'm from Oklahoma. Nobody will know. I'll just check off Native American. And guess what? She got a job teaching. And then she got the mother lode. She hit the mother lode at Harvard. Guess what? Harvard's hiring. But they only want a minority. Let me do it again. Claim I'm a Cherokee. Claim I'm a Native American. She checked off the box. They hired her allegedly as a Native American, one course, $350,000. She also used that position to make millions of dollars doing consulting and legal work for, are you ready, Goldman Sachs, Lehman Brothers, the big banks, and the top firms on Wall Street, the so-called 1%. She took millions from them and got herself a mansion in Cambridge. But let that go. And then the moment she got tenure, you know what she did? Look it up. Don't take my word for it. She scratched off Native American and put in Caucasian. When she was elected to the Senate, she never once registered herself as a Native American Indian. You know why? Because she isn't one. And here is the kicker. When finally confronted, how could you possibly claim to be a Native American Indian? Because the Cherokees in Oklahoma can't stand this woman. They hate this woman. These Cherokees, I've spoken to some of them, are dying to get their stories heard about how she used them to line her own pockets. Her answer was the most racist answer on the planet. But my Aunt Bea said, look at my high cheekbones. Now, I want you to think about that. Because Scott Brown never used that phrase against her. He should have crucified her with it. Jeff Kuhner, I'm black. No, I'm black. I'm a person of color. I'm black. And I took a job, minority set aside in academia, to line my pockets to the tune of millions of dollars. But Jeff, where's your evidence that you're black? And I point to a facial feature that is allegedly a trait, say, of African Americans. What would be the response? What if I claimed I'm Asian American? And they said, but how are you an Asian American? I don't know. And I point to a facial feature that's more uniquely Asian American. I would be run out of this city as a bigot and a racist. First of all, Cherokees don't even have high cheekbones. That's point number one. Point number two, as the Cherokees have been claiming and asking for justice now for 5 years, she took a job that was set aside for Native Americans, and she stole it from one who was a legitimate Native American to line her own pockets. She was racist against us, not once, but twice. She screwed us every step of the way. And now she's pretending to be a Native American again? Are you freaking kidding me? Chief, you didn't build that teepee. And for all you liberals out there, just to show you how ignorant and stupid you are, I have to say this. I know I'm up against it, Brittany. I have to say this. Pocahontas is not a term of derision among Native American Indians. Pocahontas was actually a traitor and a sellout to Native Americans. It's not the Disney movie version. The real Pocahontas, listen to this, actually in her youth was, I guess, a princess or whatever, the daughter of a prominent chief. She defected to the English colonial settlers. She defected to the, quote, white man. And then they took her back to England, where she lived most of her life. And she was celebrated and revered because they liked her. They thought she was beautiful. She was an actual Native American Indian. And she changed her name to Rebecca. You know what Pocahontas really means? It's sort of like the Native American version of Judas. She betrayed her own kind and lived most of her life in England as Rebecca. So you've got CNN's Jim Acosta saying, is Pocahontas a racial slur? Fact check. It is. No, it isn't, you moron. Donald Trump exposed the biggest fraud, phony, and fake Indian in America today. And her name is Chief Spreading Bull, also known as Chief Crazy Horse. And for all of you liberals out there that are now claiming that the use of Pocahontas is a racial slur, I'm going to give you now 3 opportunities to drive me out of my job. 3 times. Pocahontas, Pocahontas, Pocahontas. Or, if you prefer, Pocahontas, Pocahontas, Pocahontas. Chief, go smoke a peace pipe.
It is deeply unfortunate that the President of the United States cannot even make it through a ceremony honoring these heroes without having to throw out a racial slur.
Cherokee tribe, so proud to live.
Or lie in the case of Elizabeth Warren. Liar, liar, TP on fire. 617-266-6868 is the number. You can text us at 680-680. Okay, this is from 814. Jeff, since when is naming a historical figure a racial slur? Bingo, 814. 617. Jeff, the only time Markey comes out of his casket is to say something negative. 617. Jeff, I guess Disney has made a lot of money from that racist movie Pocahontas. Notice when they made the movie, the left never claimed it was racist. Trump uses it to expose Elizabeth Warren, and suddenly it's the modern day equivalent of the N-word. 617-266-6868. I think Trump was playing a little Cowboys and Indians yesterday. Just my opinion. Anthony and Drake-it. Go ahead, Anthony.
Hello, Jeff. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Welcome, Anthony.
I'm a veteran from 65 to 76, naval officer, and I think the whole point's being missed here. The real ceremony was for these Indian phone talkers, and the whole thing has been lost. I can't stand Elizabeth Warren, Markey, and I voted for Donald Trump. I'm sorely disappointed that he made this occasion very important to veterans for this kind of comment. And I'll take your comments off the air, but it really has disappointed me. And I think that's being lost by looking at what has occurred here now with Elizabeth Warren and with all that's going on. And it's kind of sad from my point of view, and I think we're really neglecting the veterans.
Well, Anthony, let me ask you this, and I want to thank you for your service. I assume you served in Vietnam, correct, Anthony?
I did 2 tours over there.
I love you guys.
I was a patrol officer, and then I was an advisor during the accelerated turnover, Nixon's ACTOV program.
I love you guys, especially the Vietnam vets, because you never got the credit, frankly, and the respect that you deserved. No, Anthony, look, did you see the whole press conference or just the joke?
Unfortunately, I don't have cable, and I only could get bits and pieces and what I get from the web.
Okay.
But what I saw, though, and what I see from the regular media, I know it probably isn't all there. It just disturbed me because did anybody really look at these phone talkers? They were heroes.
They were. No question about it. Anthony,
yes.
Anthony, no question about it. Thank you for your call. I'm up against it, but let me just quickly say this, and thank you for that, and thank you for your service, Anthony. The media didn't play the rest of the press conference. He looked at them square in the eyes and said, you guys are extremely special, all of you. And I can't thank you enough for your service. So he really did respect the Navajo code talkers, and he thanked them in the warmest way possible. So what happened was he had a pre-written speech. He slightly went off the cuff for that one joke. Now, the Navajo code talkers themselves were not offended. They didn't get the joke. Honestly, they don't care. They can't stand Elizabeth Warren, but they didn't get the joke. Native American Indians weren't offended. The only people that were offended were the media and Elizabeth Warren. So you may say, look, Anthony, I think it was just a funny little joke. He went on, if you read the rest of his comments before and after, he was extremely respectful, very gracious, full of gratitude, thanked them repeatedly in the warmest ways possible. Now, you may say that's not the appropriate time to make a joke. But look, he made a joke. And then what Elizabeth Warren did, and I think it's going to blow up in her face, she tried to turn this and politicize and racialize it by playing the race card. And we'll have the White House's response next. First, let's take it to Jackie Murphy in the newsroom.
WRKO, the voice of Boston.
1236 here on the great WRKO. Okay, my friends. The Kuhner Country poll question of the day, sponsored by Bill Kelly Financial Services. Was Trump wrong? Was it inappropriate for him to refer to Elizabeth Warren as Pocahontas at the military ceremony honoring Navajo code talkers? If you believe it was wrong, it was inappropriate, he shouldn't have done it, text the letter A to 680-680. If you believe, like me, it was a joke, plain and simple, I think actually a very good joke, and one that effectively exposed her. In other words, no. Text the letter B to 680-680. As always, you can vote online at WRKO.com. Lines are blazing. Before I dive back into the phone lines, so the media went ballistic, absolutely ballistic. And of course, you know, look how it works. The Democrats give out their talking points, so there's the chief. Okay, there's Pocahontas, Liar Watha. There she is. It's a racial slur. It's racism. It's an insult to me. It's an insult to all Native American Indians, even though no Native American Indians have been complaining, not one, but let that go. And on cue, baby, there they were. From CNN to MSNBC, CBS, NBC, ABC, NPR, Washington Post, New York Times, Boston Globe, they lined up and they peppered her with question after question. And listen now to Sarah Huckabee Sanders' response, because I thought it was absolutely devastating. Roll it, Brittany.
Senator Warren was very offensive when she lied about something specifically to advance her career. I don't understand why no one's asking about that question and why that isn't constantly covered.
Bingo. Because they don't want to cover it. Because they love the chief. Why? Because she's one of them. A radical leftist. 617-266-6868. Russ in Boston. You're up first. Go ahead, Russ.
First of all, Jeff, I want to say thank God that you have such a brilliant memory for history. because really, I wasn't aware of what you had said in reference to Pocahontas. And now, as you've explained this to us, there's no question about it that Trump was right on the money. He's more knowledgeable than all these idiots in the so-called mainstream media. And I'll tell you, Jeff, hopefully, Jeff Beal will beat her next year, and he will become the United States Senator, and then that'll be the end of Elizabeth Warren. And I'll tell you, if the Commonwealth of Massachusetts elects her again over someone like Jeff Beal, it is really a sad scenario for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. There is no hope for the future of Massachusetts if she gets reelected. Now, if she gets reelected and runs for president and the Democratic Party gives her the nomination, the Democratic Party is going to be ruined because everyone in the country is going to know that she's nothing but a Marxist.
Russ,
and a filthy, rotten liar.
And well, that's the key. And thank you for that call, Russ. That's the key. That she's a complete liar, a complete fraud, a phony, and a completely fake Indian. And I will bet you, forget the best steak, okay? I will bet you a 3-course meal at the Hanover Street Chop House. I mean it. I'll throw in, what do you want? The soup, the clam chowder? It's delicious. You want, they have this incredible chocolate cake. All right, I mean, it's top of the line. I'll bet you a steak, the clam chowder, and the incredible dessert to anybody out there, if you want to take up this bet. If she gets the Democratic nomination, not only is she going to be shellacked, I mean, she's going to be scalped, okay? Trump will scalp her. She will not get one Native American Indian vote. She won't get one. I'm not saying even one from the Cherokee. You take your pick. The Sioux will not vote for her. The Navajo won't vote for her. The Chickasaw won't vote for her. Nobody is going to vote for her. Okay, nobody. Not one Indian will vote for her. You know why? Because they can't stand her. In fact, I'm telling you right now, I just want to, because Elizabeth Warren's people listen to this show, they are obsessed with this show. I'm going to have representatives of the Cherokee tribe on this show during the election campaign next year. And I'm not only going to have Cherokee representatives, I'm going to have them from Oklahoma. And they are going to tell you in their own words what they really think about the chief, Elizabeth Warren. And you're not going to get one media outlet in this entire state that's going to cover it. Because the Cherokee have been saying it now for 5 years. She ripped us off. She used us. Those were minority set-asides for Native American Indians. And instead of a real Native American getting that job, look, I'm against set-asides. You know my position. I believe in equality under the law and equality of opportunity and the best person for the job. But the fact is, those were minority set-asides for actual, real Native American Indians. In other words, enough blood to be an owner or a shareholder in a casino. She doesn't even have a freaking drop. And so they're saying that she stole a job or ripped off a job from an actual Native American Indian, lied about it to line her pockets, and she is so brazen. You want to talk about chutzpah? She doesn't even register as a Native American Indian in the Senate. In fact, she flipped from Native American to Caucasian the moment she got tenure. And this woman to this day, that's why I asked Brittany when we did the pre-show meeting. I said, is there something wrong with this woman, like really in the head? Does I don't know, does the TP not work up there? Is there something wrong? Is there a hole in that TP? Because she keeps insisting or pretending to insist that she's a Native American Indian. And I'm thinking really honestly, like, Chief, I'm speaking to you now directly. You think that we don't know that you're a fraud? Do you honestly think that anybody in this country really believes that you're a Native American Indian? The Indians don't. The Cherokee don't. The American people don't. And deep down, even your own supporters and even you know you're not an Indian. So who do you think you're conning, Chief? 617-266-6868. Jimmy in Dorchester. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Good afternoon, Jeff.
Hi.
Jeff, remember she claimed in college she was sexually assaulted by a teacher or professor?
A professor, yes.
Okay, I know who it was. In her delusional fantasy world, it was either Casper the Ghost or the Invisible Man. Am I correct on one of those assumptions, the way she thinks?
Jimmy, I exposed that. She lied. You know what it was? It was a game. He was playing with her. There was a game. There were witnesses. She made the whole thing up. That's another thing she lied about. She even spoke at this guy's memorial when he passed away. I mean, that's another thing about her. So she even lied about being sexually assaulted. Look, I'm telling you right now, this woman, mark my words, this woman is mentally ill. She is a pathological, incorrigible liar. She cannot stop lying. Look, I met her. I confronted her right here at WRKO. The moment you see her, you can tell, the woman, she's not right in the head. She's not playing with a full deck. I'm just being honest with you. So she has a problem. She cannot tell the truth. And the only way she survived, the only way, is because she has a Democratic machine and a media here that cover up for her at every step of the way. Well, Jeff Deal today unveiled his huge mother bus. He's got a big bus. It's called The Real Deal. It's got his picture all over it, his face all over it. Deal on wheels. Okay? They're going to, and starting at noon, about 45 minutes ago, it's going to go to every town, every city all across Massachusetts. Jeff Deal is telling me he's going to take the gloves off. My recommendation to him, he should call her Pocahontas, Liar Watha, Chief Crazy Horse, whatever you want to call her. Every step, every city, every town, every meeting, every stop. And run a barn burner of a campaign. Because I'm telling you, even here in Massachusetts, the people are fed up. Chief, you didn't build that teepee, Chief. Jerry on the Cape. Go ahead, Jerry.
Jeff, good afternoon. Thanks for taking the call. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
Very good. Thank you, Jerry.
Jeff, I got a couple points I want to make. When I watched the president yesterday and everything, I think he could have done it a little bit differently, but when I saw the gleam in his eye, I knew someone was getting zinged. I just didn't know who yet. And then, it's twofold, Jeff. The Indian lie, and it was a dig because of the Consumer Protection Bureau, the jab with that, with Mick Mulvaney in there, dismantling that whole thing. And Jeff, someone stole my thunder. Why doesn't Disney and their white liberal leaders stop profiting from the film Pocahontas and all the merchandise? And lastly, Jeff, I hope the president comes in and campaigns, does a couple rallies for Jeff Deal, and really puts the gas down on the chief.
Jerry, what I hear from the White House, if Jeff Deal wins the nomination, and I think he will, he's coming.
Great.
The president will be here, take it to the bank. 6-1. It's like I said, it's time to play Cowboys and Indians. And what I'm going to tell the president, Mr. President, we got to start scalping some Indians here. Because the chief, she wants to play dirty, no problem. Let's play some Cowboys and Indians, and maybe we can send her back to an Indian reservation. She can make Elizabeth teach again. We'll send her to some Indian reservation, and she can be with her own people. 617-266-6868. Henry in Milton. Go ahead, Henry.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Henry?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, I was going to say, if I tried that on my college application forms, what she did, I would be in jail right now.
You better believe it.
At the very best.
She said she was a person of color, Henry.
I know.
A person of color, Henry. Can you imagine if I said I was a person of color? Oh, really, Henry, honestly. WRKO here. WRKO. We want a radio talk show host, but, it's got to be a minority. We want a minority set aside. Okay. I'm black.
The establishment would nail you to a cross.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Henry, I'd be in jail for fraud.
So would I. Anyone who's not backed by the establishment would.
Henry, thank you for that call. No, really, can you imagine? To me, it's the chutzpah of the thing. I mean, really, can you? Hi, hold on, you're black? Yeah. Yeah. Here, let me pull in Elizabeth Warren. Look at the high cheekbones. That's what my Aunt Bea told me. She said, no, you don't understand. You may look white, but baby, Jeff, you're black in the soul, my friend. Well, okay. So the job is $350,000 a year, and we basically want you to do one show a week. That's it? Yeah. Like a Saturday show. You want to do a Saturday show? Yeah, sure. $350,000 a year. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I mean, just, that's what she did. Do you think the NAACP, do you think Al Sharpton, do you think Jesse Jackson, do you think the Boston Globe would have ever allowed me to get away with that? That's what she did. She marked down, I am a person of color. A Native American Indian. Check. Mike in Newton. Go ahead, Mike.
Jeff, first of all, those three veterans weren't being awarded the Medal of Honor. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to clear that up. Now, listen. Donald Trump threw a little jab at her. She can't take the heat. That proves it to me. And by the way, Jeff, don't you know how she came about this realization that she didn't? When her mother used to sing, "Tay Sada Sada, whatever will be, will be. Will I be rich? Will I?" She was going to be an Indian.
617-266-6868. Okay, Kuhner Country. Elizabeth Warren's people are listening to this show. I know that some people from the White House like to listen to this show during the lunch hour in particular. So let's do everybody a favor. Text 680-680 for what you think should be the best nickname for Elizabeth Warren. Take your pick. Pocahontas, I like that one. Liar-Watha, Chief Crazy Horse. Brittany loves the one I've given her, Chief Spreading Bull. What do you think is the best nickname for the Chief? 617-266-6868. You can text them in. We're going to read them in the next couple of minutes. 680-680. More with your calls next. 12:55 here on the great WRKO. Okay, my friends, so let's give Jeff Deal a little bit of an assistance here. Let's give him a little bit of help. Let's give President Trump a little bit of some help. What do you think should be the appropriate nickname for Chief Spreading Bull, Elizabeth Warren, let's say for next year's campaign? We've got a lot of texts are pouring in, 680. Some of them are absolutely hilarious. A lot of them are really, really good. 781, Chief Mrs. Magoo. Another one, 617, Passing Wind. Another one, Dances with Lies. A lot of you like, by the way, Liar-Watha. That's a real popular one. Liar-Hauntus. Okay. This is from 781. Princess Flip the House. A lot of you like Chief Spreading Bull. 978 Chief Spreading Bull. 508 Liar-Watha. Okay, a little abbreviation from Liar-Watha. Liar-Watha. I like that one. 617 Chief Bumper Sticker Prius. 978 Fake Ahontas. 508, sorry. The Chief of Thieves. Yeah, Liar-Watha, that's a big one. Oh, I like this one. 781, Chief Running Scared. Princess Running Mouth. That's some pretty, Chief spreads the poop. This one, TP is empty. Oh, I like fork tongue sidewinder. Chief fork tongue. Pretty good. I got to tell you that. Pretty good. You know, don't be surprised if the president uses a couple of those in a few speeches coming up. Mark, I've got 30 seconds. Go.
Hi. First of all, Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Second, as a college professor, what if one of your students submitted to some publication, say, a poetry thing that wasn't his own? Would that not be plagiarism? And my last comment is, you called Elizabeth crazy. I think it's much, much worse than that. The Democrats are the party of the ends justify the means, and no deed and no lie is too low and too degrading.
And Mark, you are absolutely brilliant. Bingo. Coming up next, Holy Cross Crusaders. Is that name too offensive?
The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 93.7 WEEI HD2 Lawrence, Boston. It's 1 o'clock.